Hey Poptropicans, it's Captain Crawfish. One of our featured islands for the month of December 2016 is the classic Wimpy Wonderland. That means we're opening Wimpy Wonderland up to everybody to play for the month of December, and we're also giving away bonus credits when you beat the island, even if you already finished Wimpy Wonderland before. Now we sure want to give away a whole lot of credits this month, so I'm going to show you step by step how to make your way through Wimpy Wonderland. Let's get started. Who should we meet right beneath our blimp, which is now black and white instead of yellow, but the Wimpy Kid himself, Greg Heffley. Talking to him, we find out it's a snow day, and he's in charge of watching out for his little brother Manny. And Manny is nowhere to be found. Greg doesn't really have a good idea of where Manny might be. He suggests that we can go to his house and take a look. So after we finish this conversation with Greg, follow him to the left until you get to his house. And as you'll see, a Poptropican, it turns out, is much faster at running than Greg Heffley, but that's not really that big of a surprise, is it? Poptropicans are not wimpy. Greg's house is the first building on the street to the left of Main Street, and we can go straight in the front door and start looking around. To the left of the front door, we'll find a locked door, so bear that in mind for later. All the way to the right is the door to the basement, which is where Greg's brother's bedroom is. He's listening to such loud music that it knocks you back. Head upstairs and you'll see that there's something we can pick up here. One of the useful tips about this island is that the items are always in color and everything else is in black and white. So if you see something in color, pick it up. This is an address book. You'll notice underlined there is the apartment number of Greg's grandpa. We'll use that later. And to the left is one other item. It's a page from Greg's journal, which if you read, says where people's lockers are. And again, this will come in handy later. Right now we're just looking for Manny. We're trying to get clues, walking around, picking stuff up. The most logical place to look for Manny is in Manny's room. He does not appear to be in here, but the window is open and the snow is coming in, so let's take a look out that way. By going out this window, we now see a trail of footprints that we can follow. Strictly speaking, you do not actually need to follow the footprints. If you just dropped to the ground and started running, the same stuff would happen. But it's more fun to follow the trail, which leads up the hill to Greg's best friend, Rowley, who is missing something. If you see those 3 tracks going off to the left, that is where his little 3-wheeled bicycle used to be, and it appears that somebody rode off with it. He's upset about it. We can probably guess who it is, and after the conversation finishes with Rowley, here comes one Manny Heffley on the little bike, peeling out to the right, and just take off after him back to Main Street. You know, we passed a weird-looking snowman there that'll again come into play later. Past these teens, and there's the abandoned rumble bike. You can pick it up. You can actually use it and ride around if you want to. Not a huge benefit, but it's fun. Follow Manny up this tree. Just jump to where he jumps, and every time you do, he'll move forward until this point when he leaps off the tree. And when you drop to the ground, he's gone, but he destroyed little Billy's snowman. And there we have something in color, so we know we can pick it up. We now have a carrot. And there's nothing carrots can't do. I mean, I guess it can't put little Billy's snowman back together, but he's got time. Snow day's early. Heading further to the right, past this advertisement for the fantastic Poptropica graphic novel series, here's Manny again. He's jumping really athletically up into that open window into the school. The school is closed, obviously. It's a snow day. You can jump up a couple levels, but you can't get into the window that Manny went into, so find a different way up. Here's a little bit of a puzzle you need to rob you of the joy of figuring this out for yourself. If you push the trash can onto that side of the seesaw, then jump from the higher level, you'll knock the trash can up. Now push it below the open window that Manny jumped into, and that will provide you with the height you need to get into the school. But before I do that, I just remembered over here to the right in the tree, we've got an inventory item. It's a scrap of paper with 3 numbers written on it. You do need this. It's the combination to a locker in the school, and I don't believe that you can open it without having that piece of paper in your inventory. That's kind of a check to make sure that people are playing through the right way. So now that you see how the sausage is made, let's go find this. First of all, is Manny in the school somewhere? He's the one kid who wanted to go to school today, I guess, or maybe he's just running away from this strange person in a cowboy costume who's been chasing him all over town. You can now go in and out the front door of the school, yay, but we want to get into somebody's locker while we're here. Now you remember I had that sheet that had kind of a logic puzzle about my locker is 2 away from his, who's 5 away from hers. There's actually a much easier way. There's this blue lined look all over this island, and anytime something is interactive, such as the locker, it's in front of the line. So you just look for the one locker that's plain white, and there you go. That's the one you want to click on. Again, this is the locker combination. I always forget what it is, but you just click and rotate till you get 9, 37, 15. It opens, and you'll automatically pick up the Twisted Wizard game guide from inside the locker. And if you look at the game guide, you'll just see that there is a cheat mode for the game. So let's go find out where we can play the game, and then let's cheat at it. Before we do that, there are a couple more scenes to the right that we're going to want to explore. There are more things to get and to do, so run past this idling snowplow and show up at Leisure Towers, which is a retirement community. This is where Greg's grandpa lives, as you remember from the address book earlier. Right now it appears there's not much we can do here. Go into this inner entrance and the door is locked there. You seem to need an adult to get in, so we don't have an adult. Let's keep exploring to the right. So there's one more scene to the right. This is kind of a weird one if you don't know exactly what's happening. It doesn't act like they usually do in Poptropica. The Whirly Street Kids are flinging snowballs at you. You cannot go terribly far into this scene. You just can't. If you run, you get knocked back by the snowballs. But there is the shovel there. So you can make it as far as the snow shovel and no further. Don't knock yourself out trying to get further into the scene. That's the last time you're ever going to need to go in there. Back past Leisure Towers, and this time we're going to go up. So again, just to double check, Greg's grandfather lives in apartment 33C. For reasons known only to the builders of Leisure Towers, the apartments are labeled on the outside. So we will try to go up and get to his window from the outside. This is a climbing game. The way that you see that it works is every time you jump up a level, 1 or 2 windows will open on that level. If you touch the person who's standing there when the window opens, you'll get knocked down, potentially all the way to the ground. It's, as you can see, not that easy. The good thing is that there are a couple points, as you'll see I'm almost to, where once you get past where I just was, you won't fall further than that, so you have a couple of checkpoints. But there's no way up other than to just keep jumping, try to find your rhythm, try to make sure that you don't land where somebody is almost fully opened the window. As you can see, after kind of a rough start here, I've got my mojo back. I'm already almost to floor 30 here. And, yep, so 33C. Booyah. So there he is, Greg's grandfather, who is asleep, so you need to click to wake him up, and he's pretty affable considering somebody just jumped in his window and shoved him awake. It's Greg's grandfather, and when we ask him where Manny is, he says he has actually seen Manny, so this is good. He can help. Only if we're willing to have lunch with him first. Clearly he is isolated in this tower and craving human contact, so this is an experience many people are familiar with, is listening to the old man's rambling, pointless story while trying to choke down unappetizing food. There's not much of a game to this. You just click your mouse button as fast as you can. Just keep clicking. And if you do, you'll muscle past the gag reflex enough to eat the entire salad. You see on the left side that graphic of your tummy filling up. Don't want it to come out the wrong side, while on the right is the salad being reduced. So again, just keep clicking, just grit your teeth and power through it. You don't even have to read his boring story. Alright, so after succeeding there, here's the super secret information he couldn't possibly have shared early, and there goes Manny on some kind of four-wheeled scooter. He seems to be just going back and forth, so if we head down to the front of the building, we should see him. Go out the door, you'll end up in a hallway. To the left of the hallway, all the way down the left, is the elevator. You certainly are welcome to go to any one of these 33 floors, but they're all exactly the same, except for the sign over the door, so I wouldn't recommend it. You'll notice now we're inside that locked door, and what's happening here is bingo, speed bingo in particular, which is a high-stakes variant, but it's still just bingo. You can't play bingo without an adult. Maybe we'll find one later. Head out to the left. Hopefully we haven't wasted too much time here, and Manny will still be outside. Let's see. And no Manny. You remember we got that game guide earlier. I'm going to skip a few scenes, go all the way back to Greg's house. And while we've been out busting our humps trying to find Manny, Greg is hunkered down with some chips in front of a video game system. So he says he's willing to come back out and help us look for his brother, which was supposed to be his job, but only if we can beat this level in Twisted Wizard. So now that you have the game guide, you can set easy mode, and that makes it possible to beat this level. If you don't do that, you will not ever win this, so make sure you do. After Greg offers to let you play, open this up, click on the wizard. Now you're in easy mode. Now you can actually beat Twisted Wizard. And this, I think, of all the many mini games we've made in Poptropica, this is one of the gems. I actually really like this game and would play it for fun. Before the round, you have 30 seconds to build a wall around the wizard. The most important thing is that you build a complete wall. Otherwise, he won't actually have a fortress or a barricade around him. You randomly are assigned blocks of certain sizes and shapes. You can place them anywhere that they don't turn red. And you can also rotate them by pressing the space button. So after you get the complete circuit, you see how the ground around the wizard changed. Then you want to try to double up on the walls, but I'm out of time here. This is the first of 3 waves. As the ogres start coming in, you just click to shoot lightning at them. There is a little bit of a delay as you shoot the lightning up and then it comes down. So you always want to try to aim about a step in front of where they will be. It's pretty forgiving, but you will miss sometimes, especially later as they start getting faster and faster. So just keep shooting the lightning and see if you can withstand this first wave. You see that they're taking away some of my blocks, but overall I'm doing okay here. 2, 1. So that's wave 1. Same thing now, although where I can or cannot place the blocks is going to be a little different. The better you do at shooting the lightning with the orcs, the stronger you'll be able to make your fortress now. So what I'm trying to do here is making sure that it's at least 2 blocks deep everywhere that I can. Now one thing to keep in mind with this is the wizard is actually off-center. He's higher than the center in the screen. So you'll have less time to react to the ogres or the orcs that come down from the top. So it's actually more important to fortify the top, which I didn't really do there. And in the course of this round, you'll see that I remembered why. Each successive round gets longer and has more faster moving enemies. So you see I'll just click and click and click. My hull is breached, which is okay for now. If I still don't have a complete wall around the wizard at the end of my repair phase, then that would be a loss. At this point, I still just need to defend as best I can and hope that I'll be able to fill in those gaps when I get to the rebuilding phase, which is not looking like a guarantee. Did it. So I think you get it by now. I'm gonna once again build the thickest walls that I can here. You see it's actually getting harder to place them now that my fortress is getting bigger and bigger. You see how it turns red a lot more, but that's fine. I have a finite number of blocks, as you see counting down in the upper right, but I don't think in 5 years of playing this game I've ever actually run out of blocks before the timer has run down. So I'm just going to keep doing me here. I'm going to make the best darn walls I can. And here comes the last wave. Nothing changes as far as how the lightning acts. It's just a matter of needing to be a little bit more precise and a little bit swifter with the reflexes because they start coming in from more places and moving faster. If you have 2 of them that are very close together, you can hit 2 enemies with 1 lightning bolt, and that's always a satisfying feeling. You see it's getting a little harder to hit them, but my walls at least are thick enough that I'm slowing them down. So I got, I got about 10 seconds left. I think I'll be good, but Imagine if you didn't have easy mode set. Okay, I think the worst is over. 2-1-0. Okay, so now that we've won, Greg will go back out on the hunt, but not exactly make himself useful. He does give the game to you because it turns out it's not even his. He's borrowing it from his poor, long-suffering friend, Rowley. He asks your player to go return the game to Rowley, so head up here, and now Rowley is stuck inside on a snow day. His dad won't let him out. If you knock on the door to try to go in, his dad tells you to hit the bricks, pal. So we're going to try to sneak our way into his house. That should ingratiate us to his dad. Jump on the car, it sets off the alarm. Now click on the bush next to the door. Out comes Riley's dad, leaves the door open behind him. Click and head on in. That's a totally ethical way to do things. Talk to Rowley, give him his game back, and he's so thankful. Out of the goodness of his heart, he's going to give you something, just a gift that means so much to him. It's his membership card for the Joshi fan club, Joshi being a European pop singer, I believe. Head to the left. We have not been to the left yet because there was nothing we could do there. Past the laundromat, which is snowed in, and there's one house on this road, and this actually belongs to Greg's grandmother. So let's go in and talk to her. She identifies herself immediately as Greg's grandmother, which is how people usually consider themselves when somebody storms into their house and demands identification. She saw Manny briefly, that's helpful, and is willing to help us look if we can shovel her driveway, because then she'd be able to use her car to get out to the roads. That makes sense. And in order to shovel the driveway, we need a shovel, which you recall we got under a barrage of snowballs on Worley Street much earlier. Well, now we can use it. So head out in front of the garage and use the inventory item to start the snow shoveling minigame. Once this starts, it's pretty simple, although might be a little bit challenging if you've never done it before. Clicking your mouse button will cause the shovel to go down under the snow, and then letting go of it will cause the shovel to tip and dump the snow. If you get too much snow on the shovel, it will dump before you want it to and stay on the driveway. Since the objective is to clear the driveway completely, that means you need to find the right balance of filling up the shovel with enough snow that you're clearing the driveway efficiently, but not so much that you can't actually get it off the driveway. So it's one of those things that's kind of more by feel than anything. You see, I'm just looking at how much I'm doing here is a fair amount, a fair approximation to try to get. Oh, there you go. I dropped some on the driveway. But it's sort of, you know, in its way, it's kind of a zen, you know, making order out of chaos, clearing up the driveway. It's not as hard as shoveling my driveway is in real life. And oh yeah, it is December. All right, driveway's clear. And she can't peel out fast enough to go play bingo and not help us at all. Thanks, Grandma. So head back to the right. I have the benefit of being able to skip ahead in the video. You will have no such luck. But head back to Greg's house. And now with the Joshi membership card, we can use that to get through the lock to the laundry room. There's a couple things happening in here. One is maybe a clue, hopefully. The other is the circuit breaker for the house. If you turn off the power to Roderick's room with that loud music, the music will turn off and he will storm kind of slowly out of the house. That opens up his room, which remember is down in the basement, so we can head down there. And there is indeed an inventory item. It's a dog dish. The dog is named Sweaty, which is some kind of a name for a dog. And the other benefit of Roderick leaving is that he takes his van with him, and that means that another scene outside is now accessible to us, and that is the garage. So head on in there, and amid all the other stuff is this beautiful leaf blower, which we'll pick up. All right, and now that we have the leaf blower, head back out to the road, and now if you remember that kind of freaky looking snowman that we've passed by a couple of times, now is the snowman's moment. First thing we'll do is stick the carrot on the snowman's face, because that's what you do with a carrot. And it turns out that it's not just a creepy snowman, it seems as though there's actually somebody in there. So we'll use the leaf blower to blow the, the snow off, and it's Fregley, one of the odder characters in the Wimpy Kid Rogues Gallery. So he's glad to be free, and as a token of gratitude, a bingo troll. It's a bingo stamper. If you recall, Grandma was off to bingo, we needed to go in there with an adult, and we needed our own stamper. It's all coming together. So head on in. It's now freely accessible from the road, no more of that climbing up the building. And there's Grandma playing bingo. So now that we have our own, I guess it's a blotter, not a stamper, must be a regional thing. As soon as you use this, the game starts. This works exactly as any game of bingo does. The speed element is really just that you have these 3 cards. You can't see all 3 of them at a time. And the balls do a little bit start to stack up as you go. But, you know, again, it works exactly the same as any bingo game you've ever seen. There's N44, so look under the N. And anywhere you have a number 44, which you may or may not have on any given card, stamp it. Same, 072. And as soon as you get 5 in a row, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, the game will end and you will win. So I think what I'm going to do now is speed this video up, because this bingo still ain't speedy enough for me. There we go, that's more like it. Don't you wish you could do this in real life? Just fast forward past the boring and repetitive parts. Not that it's boring. Bingo is very fun. I'm just saying in general. Anyway, I'm going through all 3 of these boards, stamping away, getting my numbers, and I am about to get bingo. Where is it? Oh, yeah, there we go. All right. So I got the grand prize, which is what every kid wants. The soothing sounds of classical music. Yes. All right, so I'll head out the front of the building and then go left until we reach the convenience store, which again, through the magic of video, I'm right there. Head inside the Fast Mart. There's a jug of windshield deicer in here that I want. Since I know I want it, I haven't gone to look for it yet. This guy says he'll give it to us if we get these teens to leave while playing the soothing sounds of classical music, and cranking the volume will indeed drive those surly, no-good teens away from the store. And now that they're gone, the, I guess, grateful shopkeeper hands us the windshield washer fluid. So head back out and then go find the plow driver whose windshield is iced over, and there he is. This is a pretty classic puzzle where he wants us to find exactly 4 liters of this fluid, but we have containers that are 10, 5, and 3 liters. So we have to use logic to try to figure out how to get exactly what he wants out of this. And if you have not picked up the dog bowl, you won't be able to do this yet. So anytime you drag something that has liquid in it to one of the other containers, it will pour automatically, and it will tell you how much there is. So the first thing I did was kind of move it all the way along to the right so they all have something in them. My goal here is to pour that into Sweaty dish, and don't give Sweaty the wiper fluid. That would be really bad for Sweaty. There's 5 liters, 3 liters, 2 liters. You know what? I'm not even really following what I'm doing, but apparently, there you go. Once I had 5 liters in the middle one, I poured the extra into Sweaty's dish. Please don't drink it, Sweaty. Now that I've given him 4 liters of washer fluid, another lazy no-goodnik in the Wimpy Kid world, instead of doing his work, he's off to get some coffee. Well, now the snowplow works. Let's go see what Greg is up to. He's playing video games again, and this time he won't let you play. But if you open the drapes, the sunlight will hit him like a vampire, basically. And for whatever reason, this snaps him back to a sudden flash of inspiration that perhaps Manny was trying to get his blanket from the laundromat. Well, there goes Manny in the snowplow. If you remember, the laundromat was snowed in. It was impossible to get in the front door. Well, they could clear it with a snowplow. Let's follow Manny once again and see if Greg's theory is correct. Well, there you have it. He's cleared the door to the laundromat, and... Yep. Manny was looking for his blanket, his tingy. He's got it. Now the only problem is that Greg's mom is almost home, and if they're not home when she gets there, she'll know that something went wrong. So we gotta get home, but the Whirly Street kids are advancing. Throw in their snowballs. There's only one thing to do, and that is to create the mother of all snowballs. It's actually very easy to do if you don't get knocked back by snowballs. Click on that big snowball. Automatically, all the rest of this will happen. Enjoy this. This is good. Such violence. Well, the path is clear to Greg's house, but we don't really have enough time to get home down this hill unless we sled there. So that leads us to the final chase here. And there's basically two things you can do during this chase. You can jump, which you want to do over over obstructions, over any piles of rocks, anything like that. And you can duck. You duck under tree branches. There are both the kinds of trees that drop their leaves, and there are evergreens, but to get past them is the same. Duck under them. And again, jump over everything else. The secret trick to this is you actually can't lose this. You'll just feel cooler or less cool depending on how many times you get slowed down. But either way, you just keep going until you jump to the end. There you go, just in time for Greg's mom to come home. Manny is safe. She's none the wiser. We've made it through the snow day with Greg Heffley. And as a reward, of course, you get your island medallion. And remember, for the month of December only, Wimpy Wonderland is open for everybody to play. And everybody who completes Wimpy Wonderland in the month of December gets bonus credits. So head over to poptropica.com right now to get your bonus credits. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for playing Poptropica.